What's up? Sebi says episode 10. Holy shit, I really did save the best for last. What's
Yeah.
up, baby?
How's it going?
My boy, Bert.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude. I think you might be like the first guest that I wear my retainers with on the show.
Okay.
No, but you are definitely the first guest that I have that I don't think knows me. Like we kind
No.
of just met on the fly.
Yeah. It was about a year ago in Pittsburgh.
Dude, was it a year ago?
Yeah, it was like July or August. It was an event going on downtown, but yeah, I think our energies just matched because I'm a social butterfly. I believe you are too. I was talking to somebody and you just jumped in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I thought you knew the guy I was talking to,
Yeah.
and then at the end you were just like, "Oh, nice to meet everybody," and I was like, "Oh, you don't know him?"
That's hella funny.
Yeah, it's all good.
Do you remember what that event was called?
No, it was the first of its kind. They were trying to just do like a street fair in Pittsburgh, I
For
think.
being the first of its kind, it was.
Yeah. I have a friend of a friend who was the one who mostly put it on and stuff. So we're trying to get downtown Pittsburgh cracking. You know what I'm saying? We got Dalle Vino, the wine bar, is down there. They also serve beer. Come by first Friday.
The Lavinos? Oh, yeah?
Dalle Vino,
Why
yeah.
First Friday? Oh, like, is it like a
we're
stroll?
we're doing first Fridays like all summer.
Dude, fuck
and
yeah.
Yeah. Come by.
Oh, bet.
4th of
Say
July.
less. Okay.
Yeah. So we be out there. It's near the water. They serve wine. They serve beer. They got food. Yeah, it's cracking.
So you live in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I've been there for quite some time. Left a little bit, but came back. I tell people you can leave Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh brings you back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It seems very homey. Like, it has a really good community.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
am I right?
It's pretty small, and yeah, that's why I love being there. It's like, I go to the store, I know somebody. My friend, my son said he's going to his friend's house. I'm like, I know these people.
Yeah.
I know their mom or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Go. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I go downtown and I party at the bars, and it's like class reunion.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I love it. I hate hearing when people say like, they determine success by, oh, you got to leave the town you were raised in, and I'm like, screw that. Like,
Yeah.
you can go somewhere, but it's okay if you stay there.
Yeah.
And, being in Pittsburgh, about an hour away from everything. If I want to go to the city, if I want to go to the beach, if I want to go to the forest, the boonies, everything's just about an hour away. So yeah.
At least it's predetermined almost in that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool. I didn't know. So, have you been kind of helping out, some buddies on the scene in terms of trying to get Pittsburgh a little bit more on the map or letting?
Yeah,
more
I mean,
attractive?
just you could share stories. Like sharing stories is free. When I do something like I just invited you downtown on Friday.
Yeah.
I just spread the word out. I went to a concert this past Friday, and I'm letting.
Was that in Pittsburgh?
No, I wish. No, Pittsburgh.
The iced tea one?
Yeah, that was in the city, but I invited people to the Berg already.
Yeah. From that outing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, dude. And so, born also in Pittsburgh or born somewhere?
Nah, I was born in Burlingame, California.
Okay.
Raised in.
Oh, that's right. You did mention that.
Yeah. I spent my early years out there, and then I moved to Pittsburgh like right before kindergarten, and then I was there until I was about 18, and then I left. But like I said, Pittsburgh always reels you back in. Yeah.
Where did you go?
I went to San Bruno. That's where I originally lived, and then my dad, was hardworking garbage man, and he would wake up every day at like 3 a.m, out the house by 4, and he's working by 5, and then he would drive home, and he did that for like 20 years. So, when I was 18 and I just graduated, he was like, "Hey, how do you feel about moving to San Bruno?" And I was just like, "Man,
Yeah.
you're the man of the house. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna make your life easier. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Don't
yeah.
worry about me." So,
Yeah.
I went out there. I didn't have the best of time. Just I was 18. I was kind of emo, and I wanted to be with my friends. You know what I'm saying?
And you had to make new friends when you got out there.
Yeah, and I did, and I'm still friends with them to this day. So I love that. But
That's awesome.
I tell my kids now, I'm like, man, like one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life was probably leaving San Bruno when I was 18 and coming back to Pittsburgh. Like,
Really?
yeah, man.
Why?
We're in the backyard out here, and I was just like, the air feels so great, and so I moved.
Oh, when you were right, being in the Bay Area, a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
closer to
So
the
now,
water. as
so now I'm
opposed
in. I've
to Pittsburgh, where it's a
been
little...
back to Pittsburgh since I was 20. I'm 42 now. I've been hot for the last 22 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so
yeah.
just the air
Just a little break from that and coming over here to catch that breeze.
man, the air is just
nice,
fresher.
huh?
You know what I'm saying? I just feel
Yeah.
like I'll live longer if I was, breathing in this air.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, my oldest daughters, they graduated, and I was just like, leave.
Yeah.
Go to my. Because my parents have 2 rooms over there. Like, go live with them and go to college out there. And yeah, my older daughter had a kid, so I told her, not to have it, but it's her life. I was like, don't get pregnant. She got pregnant. I'm like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying, this is gonna be your life for the next
Yeah.
15 years at least.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Before you go out and party again. But yeah, and my other daughter, she wanted to go to junior college first.
Yeah. So she's still staying at the crib?
Yeah. She's partying it up. She's at the Pride Festival right now. The
Fun.
Pride Parade. Yeah.
I had friends when I was in college that would, that we would go, we would celebrate, we would, go support.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been there. Had a great time. I'm probably gonna go next year because I already made this with you. I didn't know when it was, but yeah. But going to go to junior college is great because
I appreciate you making the plans to come.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, junior college it's important. People spend a lot of money and they go to this college and then they're like, hey, I don't think I want to do this.
Right.
I thought I wanted to be a teacher for a while. I've been working in
You make a great teacher, dude.
I kind of am, but I'm not. I don't have credentials or anything. Yeah. I've been working in special ed for this coming week will be 20 years for me.
Nice, dude. Really?
Yeah,
You've been in special ed for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just I got like a million stories. It's all just came in my head at one time, but no.
I'm gonna need at least like one of them for sure.
I got some good stuff.
Yeah.
But where to start at? In third grade, my teacher told me that I was going to be a teacher.
Really?
Yeah, she said I was sensitive, and I had this guy who made fun of me till the end of high school. He was like, sensitive, whatever. And then
it's a very it comes off like as it's like a very like a negative, almost like. But I think of it as like the word. I see it as like you're able to easily detect things. Like you can detect something in somebody more easily.
Yeah, definitely. Like when we met, like we're just
exactly.
Our energy just
sensitive
boom.
to the energies around you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very like an empath, and I can read people's faces. Like I've been studying psychology for seems like a lot of my life. I had this teacher in junior year. I was just talking about him the other day. Rest in peace, my man Balu. He was just the greatest teacher I ever had.
What kind of teacher? You said English?
U.S. history at first, but psychology all the way. So day one in his class, right? He grabs the book we're supposed to learn from. He says, "You see this book?" And he was like, "This book is full of lies." And he throws the book across the classroom, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
You're like, "Fuck
yeah. And then so, man, had that guy for 2 years. I had him that whole U.S. history year, and he just taught us things that, we'll never learn from the book. And he, said he worked for the government and all this stuff. Man, he was deep.
So he definitely had eyes behind the curtain, some awareness.
Yeah, and he had that third eye was open, man. This guy, he called himself a Jedi.
Oh,
and
I
didn't know about Star Wars then, like I do now. But that dude was the last Jedi. I hope not, but yeah, that dude.
What was his name?
His name was David Littleton.
David Littleton.
Yeah, and he wanted everybody to call him Balu, but he would really like. You could cut class and go hang out in his class. Mm-hmm. Just acknowledge him first of all. One of my friends didn't acknowledge him, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
That was his thing.
Yeah. Yo, he would cuss. He would like one time I was cutting class, and security was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Man, I'm in Balu's class. Balu said I could chill." And he was like, "Balu said that? Oh yeah." And I was lying. And then security went and told Balu. Balu left the class, and the whole class followed him. And he had a ruler ready to whoop my ass. Right? yeah. And I was out of there. So that was like year 2000 or something. So yeah, he didn't care. Like this guy. He would hypnotize some of us sometimes. Some people thought he was bullshit, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like he should have been fired for all kinds of shit." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's gone now, but he can't get in trouble now.
Yeah.
But I remember he hypnotized somebody, and he was like, "Act like a chicken," and they were acting like a chicken, and then he was like, "Sleep," and when he said sleep, my fellow student's head just boom against the desk.
way.
Yeah. He was deep, man, and yeah. So
Balu.
yeah. There was a time where I felt something sit on my bed when I was trying to go to sleep. Right, I'm like 17, right, and I'm just like, oh shit, like I'm like frozen. Like this is like a real ghost experience. Like I felt the weight, just and I did not want to look, right,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the next day in class, it was
You didn't look.
no. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right. Yeah, so
I love shit like this. Like growing up, my grandma would tell me stories about this shit. She
Yeah.
actually spoke at Masonic halls about the power of the mind.
yeah, it's definitely true, man. Like when I was in junior high, I used to see shadow people and shadow creatures, and I just thought, I'm just nuts or something. And then it just stopped one day. But I'll never forget in junior high, like I really just saw something, like it was just like a thin bar, like a column. Like I was walking outside, I had to go to gym class. It was like this thin, right? And then I'm walking, and then I just see.
No!
Yeah, dude, I mean, look at those. Those are real goosebumps over here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that just stopped one day, and then but now I'm in my senior year, and I'm taking psychology class with the same teacher, Balu, right? And it was Thursday. We had open discussions, and so he was just like, "All right, what do you guys want to talk about?" And I was like, "Balu." I sat right next to him. I went from being the stoner in the back of the class the first year to the stoner in the front of the class because
That's
I was trying to
hilarious.
soak in all this knowledge from the guy. So I tell him, I said, Balu, a ghost sat on my bed last night, and he was just like, "Boy, what the hell you been smoking, right?" Yeah, he was an older black man.
Yeah.
Boy,
It just clicked that he was.
Yeah, and then everybody's laughing, and he's like, "Silence," and just
And everybody shuts the fuck up.
everybody shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
And he closed his eyes, and he wanted me to close my eyes and relax, and he was just like, "There's someone named Joseph. He died when he was young, and he's just stopping by to say hi, right?" And so I go home that day, and my mom was washing dishes, and I was like, "Mom," told her everything I just said, and she said, "Yeah, she had an uncle named Joseph who died."
No fucking way.
Yeah, like he was in like his mid to late 30s, right? And then so I was just like, "Oh shit."
Oh my
So
god.
the next day I go and I'm like, "Balu, you're right," and blah blah blah, and he was like, "I know I'm right." You know what I'm saying? Like,
He was like, I didn't need you to come back here and let me know I was right.
yeah, but that guy, he
Wow.
had a big influence on my life and who I am and what I studied and special ed and all that. Like I ended up working. It was 2005, and I hit him up on like probably on Facebook, and I was like, good meeting you again, whatever, good talking to you. And I told him what I did, and he was like, I'm proud of that badass. So he was great, man, and I took his unorthodox style of teaching, and I went and I did that with with my guys in special ed, and there's when there's special ed, it's not just people with autism or being intellectually disabled or paraplegic. There's just everything. You could just be you know you could just be an asshole and get kicked out of public school, and now you're labeled. Now you got special ed.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you hear special ed and you hear exactly that, like handicap, maybe.
Yeah.
hard to
So
understand.
I worked with a lot of badass motherfuckers. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude, and the level of patience that you must have.
Yeah, and I got it, but I lost my shit too sometimes, but so I think it's if you take an IQ test and if you score under 80, I think you're labeled you have special needs.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these guys I worked with were labeled emotionally disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I think they just got to have some kind of diagnosis to go to the school that I worked at, and so but
Like they need the diagnosis in order for it to be put into there.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the diagnosis is sometimes just tossed around?
Definitely, because I've been doing this for 20 years, and like I still don't know what autism is, man. Like I've seen guys who like can't talk, and then I've seen guys who are brilliant.
Piano fucking
Yeah, and
magicians.
they're both autistic, so
Right.
it's everything. It's really the spectrum of it all,
Wow,
But there's a lot of guys who are just mixed with multiple diagnoses. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just wild. But I learned a lot. When I first started, there was an older man there, Mr. Les, older Scottish man, and he took me under his wing, and he was like, sometimes it's not what you could teach, but what you could learn from them. And I took that, and I ran with it, and I learned so much. I learned patience, how to care for other people, and just I was really my first couple weeks there. They just threw me in this classroom, right? There's no teacher.
How old were you? This is when you started this.
Yeah,
right?
so I was about 22.
And did you have previous educational experience?
Not really. I volunteered at my younger brother's school. Um, just stuff like that. Yeah, my youngest
How old
brother.
was your younger brother?
He's 11 years younger than me.
So you volunteered to help at his
Yeah,
school,
yeah. I was like,
but nothing like summer camp shit, nothing like that.
no, nothing like that. And I was taking like child development in local college. So.
So you have a degree in that?
I have a degree in psychology and sociology. I got my AA in both.
Sweet.
I want to get my BA, but it's just I'm getting tired of school.
Yeah, of course.
That's a lot of work.
I was tired of school. Yeah, when I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
it.
I'll go back.
Once you started that hard math shit, you know what I mean?
I don't have to do math ever again. So yeah. So yeah. Anyways.
So what made you go do this at 22?
Man, I didn't have a job.
Yeah, yeah.
I was with my ex at the time, and she worked there before, and she was like, go apply over there. It was the first time so it was a year after I had a kid. So I got that big kid tax money. You know what I'm saying? I think I got like $3,000 or something. And
So you were like feeling it, dude.
I was working at Toys R Us, and they wanted me to work on WrestleMania Sunday, and I refused to work on WrestleMania Sunday. I refused to work the day after WrestleMania, and I quit my job.
Because you fuck with wrestling. I mean, that's your shit, right?
That is my shit.
Your absolute shit.
That is my shit.
Yeah.
So I quit my job, and I had enough money to pay rent for like the next 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
You were sitting pretty.
Yeah,
Nobody
I
can
was
tell you
chilling, and
shit.
then I was like, oh shit, I'm running out of money. So I went over there, and it's just wild. Like there was no direction. The staff was just out for themselves. They weren't working with each other, and so there was like one.
No communication.
No, there was this man, an older man from Africa, and he was very smart, and the rest of the staff just didn't want to be on his team. Like he's trying to make this happen, and he was probably a teacher, where he came from, but you get your degree and everything from different countries and stuff, or even like across our own country. You could be a teacher in New York and you come to California and you have to do it like damn near all over again or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. I know folks like that. Who like gotten their nursing degree in like the Philippines, and then they come here and they got to redo absolutely everything.
Man, it's crazy. So that's where it all started. But there was this kid. He was just a few years younger than me, and I didn't know how dangerous he was. And the staff.
He was just a few years older or younger? Than
Younger.
You? You were 22
yeah.
And he was just a few years younger.
Yeah. So in special needs, you could go to. You have the right to go to school until you're 22 years old. And so, he was probably like 18, 19, but I didn't know, how dangerous he was. And the staff didn't want him in the classroom.
What?
And they were just like, just take him and just get out of here. And so this kid really trained me how to do my job and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. And
They were just like, we don't want him in the classroom. Do what the fuck you need to do and make sure he's just not in the classroom.
Yeah, he could have killed somebody.
No way.
He scalped his teacher. Before I got there, they told me that the teacher was gone because she went and took him to a room, tried to get him to calm down, tried to just be one-on-one. No, I feel safe with him, blah, blah, blah. And he lost his shit. And from what I heard, he pulled the front of her hair and took like a house phone.
No.
And he beat the hell out of her, broke her nose, and like scalped the front of her head. Yeah, it was and so they're like, hey, work with him, and they didn't even tell me about that until like a week or two later, and I'm just like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying?
I think this is something you should have told me prior to signing into me.
Yeah, and that kid actually, like, we were really cool, and I didn't think he would ever do that to me. And then like he had gotten a fight, and I got him out of there. Like this place where I worked at was wild. Like I've really been in situations where like like a scary movie. Like I have a key in my hand and I'm trying to get through this door and there's someone chasing me and this person wants to kill me and might even have something in his hand to do so with. And I'm shaking and I'm trying to, and I just, last second, I get it. I turn the key and I get like, I'm probably trying to save another student and myself. And I throw them in there and I turn around and I shut the door and then they're at the door.
Oh my God. Talk about living it out, dude.
Yeah, man. And I did that for, 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. So I've been trained, but yeah, this kid,
you really are like living this shit out, dude. That's crazy.
yeah, it's kind of hilarious now.
Are you a horror movie guy?
Am I what?
A horror movie guy?
Yes, somewhat. I don't like to see gore so much anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I think just me growing up and having kids, like I don't want to see stuff like that anymore. I'm more of a, kind of thriller or mystery now. But I do love zombies. Obviously, I'm in the band Zombies on Crack.
Zombies on Crack, baby.
Yeah, and I love Chucky. Like Chucky can't do no wrong in my eyes. I love Chucky. There's a funny story. It's in my head right now. So I'm at work, right, and there's a Woody toy there. Just like from Toy Story, right? And I'm like, hey, like whose toy is this? And they're like, it's yours, take it. So I drive home with Woody, and I went to go pick up my daughters real quick. I want to take them to the park. That's what was daily routine. Pick them up, go straight to the park, and I was sitting in the car and I was just kind of like, I was talking out loud and I was like, man, my breath kind of stank. Like I'm gonna go brush my teeth real quick, right? And then so like I did that, and then like my kids were getting in the car. The car was off. I didn't leave the car on with the kids in it. But yeah, but my daughters get in the car, right? And then I just run and just brush my teeth like real quick. I come out and then my older daughter was just like, "Were you brushing your teeth?" And I'm driving already. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, "Hey, how do you know?" And she was like, "Woody told me." And I was just like, "Oh shit,
bro, that is creepy."
Yeah. Maybe she just smelled. Maybe it was just fresh in the car all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
But she didn't give you no explanation, did she?
That was the reason. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I believe in all the paranormal stuff. I said earlier that I used to see shadow people and figures and stuff. Yeah. And my girlfriend loves this show, Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Oh, I love it.
I love that show.
Nice.
And
what, is Amazon? What?
I don't know. We watch it on
let me know.
Comcast. Yeah, I'll let you know. Paranormal Caught on Camera. And I remember like my girlfriend's watching it and I'm not really paying attention, and then I look at the TV and I'm like, that's the shit I used to see. So now I know I'm not crazy, and there's these shadow people, and I there's not really explanations for it. Like, is it another dimension? Demons? I don't know. They don't really mess with people. They just kind of watch, like, and they could come in like any kind of figure either. Like I remember any kind of form. Like I remember like going into my garage one time to go get a soda or something, and then I seen like a black just like a cat just like run by or something. It was small, like a cat or like a squirrel or something. And I remember I just closed the door. I was like, I'm not going in there. Like we didn't have no cats there. And we're not gonna leave them in a hot ass garage either. So it just like disappeared into the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's pretty creepy. And
I used to live here on Montalvan, and I used to see them too.
Yeah? Oh, well.
I used to see, we had a hallway. So like we had like an entrance where there was a living room, the kitchen in the back, and then you make a left and there was a hallway with the main room and a couple of the rooms. But down that hallway, I feel like I would see them every so often.
Yeah, they're definitely seeing you.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know, man. I stayed at this one house too, downtown Pittsburgh on East 12th Street. And I remember one day, my roommate, he was making himself a sandwich on one side of the kitchen, and I'm putting dishes away on the other side of the kitchen. And there was this, I don't know what it is. It was something like above the sink where you could hang your pots and pans on and stuff. And I put like a spatula up there, and I'm putting stuff away, and then I hear something fall. And I'm like, hey, bro, you throwing shit at me? And he's like, nah, bro, you're throwing shit at me, whatever. And I looked down, and it was the spatula. I just put it on a hook by itself. So there's no possible way for it to, come up off the hook and then fly like 3 feet behind me and stuff. And my ex was there, and she would tell me sometimes, some shit's going on. And I used to work at a group home also, and so
Ooh,
like
man.
I would
That's
I
like
would
transitioning energy.
yeah, I got group home stories definitely. But I was there like working overnight, and then she'd call me like she was sleeping on the couch, and the house was like like raised up, like not on the concrete, you know what I'm saying? And she like felt and heard like something like running over towards her and like stopped like right in
I
front of
would
her and shit.
shit my pants.
Man, it was crazy. 'Cause I used to take showers there, and then like I would hear somebody walking around, and then I come out and nobody's home. Like I thought my roommate would be home,
Yeah.
and he didn't believe none of that.
Yeah.
He's an atheist and all that.
Mm.
And then one day I get home, we gotta fucking leave.
No,
Yeah.
the same guy who
Yeah,
doesn't believe.
yeah.
What?
He was like, we gotta fucking leave, and I'm like, what happened? Like we used to just have there was like a broken washer in there, so we would just like store stuff on there, and we had like a big pack of Dasani waters, single waters, like 18 pack or whatever. It's heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was in his room playing video games, and he just heard boom. And so he comes out, and that thing, it was on the ground, like in the middle of the kitchen, but it had to fly at least like 5 or 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? And so we only lived there for a year, and there was like nothing going on like the first 6, 7 months. In the last few months, we were like, bro, we gotta go.
There was just a whole bunch of shit going on.
It started getting worse.
Yeah.
Like, I really think my ex was like messing with something, just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think she was doing stupid shit.
Like what? Like seance
Like,
type shit?
I don't know,
Ouija
like,
board type shit?
like maybe, I mean, I don't know much about like the tarot cards.
Yeah.
I think she was trying to mess with that, but she doesn't know what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And like now I date someone who's a witch, a white witch.
Mm-hmm.
So she's good. But she told me, like, if you try to use magic to like hurt people or trick people, like it comes back to you, or
Really?
and sometimes you open up these doors.
These portals.
Yeah, they're not, some of them aren't meant to be open, and then you got to make sure you close the portal, like you're supposed
And you're
to.
supposed to imagine a white light around you. There's like a lot of stuff that you gotta do to protect yourself.
Yeah, like I think you gotta like have like a big line, like salt or I don't know.
Whatever the fuck
yeah,
it is, you
yeah,
have
but
to do it.
I don't mess with none of that stuff, like being, growing up in a Mexican household.
Oh fuck no.
Yeah, you don't mess with stuff like that. So
Right.
I'm scared of shit like that. So nah, I wasn't messing with it. And when I left, I told the landlords, I was like, hey guys, like this place is haunted. And they were just like, no one's ever said anything about it.
You
being
gotta divulge it moving forward.
I don't even know, but I'm good now. Nothing bugs me now.
Good
So
for you. Yeah, I used to. I don't know if you ever got it, but like sleep paralysis was something that like horrifies me.
yeah, that would happen to my ex. She would get it a lot. Yeah, like I walked in the room one time and she's laying there just.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, what the
Flailing around. Poor thing.
Yeah.
This morning I had a dream of my uncle who passed away several years ago. He passed away from a freak accident.
Oh man.
He was trying to keep the fire going in a fireplace. This is during COVID. They were starting to finally let go of all the restrictions, and he was excited. And he's a drinker himself, so he started day drinking. He was excited. He was gonna have the family come over, and he goes to squirt the liquid, the flammable liquid, so
Yeah.
they could keep the, like you would do at a barbecue, you just kind of squirt and keep it going.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he may have been holding it longer than he should have, and it came back to the bottle and it exploded.
Oh damn! I'm always scared of that. Like
It's
when I
terrifying.
barbecue. Yeah, like
I'd be like, and I'd make sure like the stream is split.
Yeah,
before.
there's no. I've thought about
you
that.
know what I
Like
mean?
it's gonna go.
It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. Oh man.
So he had passed away like 17 days after the accident. He had a heart attack. His lungs filled with water, and
Oh, man. Sorry to hear
he
that.
drowned, right? I guess.
Yeah.
In that sense. But he visited me in my dreams last night, and it was stupid vivid. Like it was so real that that it had clicked while I was sitting there. So it was just basically like his like what I felt was like his upper shoulder area, and that's what I was like engaging with. Like I was like hugging him, holding him, and kissing his head.
Yeah.
And I was like in my head, I don't know if I said it out loud, but I definitely, the sensation of knowing that this was temporary, that I knew he was dead, that I knew that this was a dream,
Yeah.
came across my mind, and in the moment I was just like, I remember breathing and just telling myself like, this isn't gonna last forever. Like enjoy this as much as you can. This is not a common occurrence. And
Yeah.
oh my God, it was just.
Yeah, you
Felt so
gotta.
real.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been there. My youngest brother I was talking about, he passed away. He actually passed away in the ghost ship warehouse fire
Your
that
youngest
happened.
brother passed?
Yeah, that it was the warehouse fire in Oakland that happened in late 2016,
Uh huh.
where 36 people died.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
was that called?
the ghost ship warehouse fire.
Ghost ship
Yeah, because
warehouse fire.
the warehouse was called the ghost ship.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So
wild.
they would throw parties there, and they just the landlord and like his main tenant, whatever. Like they shouldn't have been doing it. Like there's all kinds of, like one lady said she lived there and she would try to make toast and charge her phone and then they would kill the breaker or whatever. So it was bad. These guys,
So the wiring was fucking shit for.
it was, and there was a place next door, like a auto body shop, and so they would always have to go to the auto body shop to get there to reset their breaker and
You
stuff.
kidding me? Wow.
No, and so the auto body shop even like let them like make a hole in the wall like upstairs.
So that they can make it.
Yeah, so they didn't have to
Wow.
come over the weekend or when they're off or whatever.
right.
Yeah, so yeah, that was 2016 and yeah, yeah, my baby brother was there for a rave and yeah, they was all cluttered and stuff. They all the windows still had with the cage around it, you know what I'm saying? And
Damn.
yeah, they try to make it pitch black in there for the rave, and then there was no exit signs or nothing, so they just all the lights just went out, and then yeah, everybody got trapped in there. Like the landlord wasn't there. He knew there was gonna be a party, so him and his kids left, and then the main tenant, the one who would put on the party, he grabbed his stuff and left.
Dipped.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's other people like this girl Chelsea. I can't think of her last name right now.
Survived or no?
No, Chelsea Dolan, and her and another guy named Nex. They were outside and they ran in to try to save people.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, yeah. So they're the real heroes,
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But my brother, like, he was kind of like the poster boy of it all. Like, he was found holding his girlfriend, like hugging and embrace,
You
trying to keep her
serious?
safe. Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. So yeah, that was that was a tough time, and I try to help people who are grieving, because I've done it, been there, and um, I just try to live it up now, So opportunities like this, or there's a concert, and I'm like yes, yes, yes.
I love that.
Yeah,
I feel like you're like that yes man sort of person who wants to experience and milk life for as much.
yeah, yeah,
that it has to
definitely.
offer.
And when someone dies, people are always like, hit me up, if you need to talk, and so. I was training to be a pro wrestler for a little bit.
Were you really, dude?
Yeah,
Shut
yeah.
the fuck up.
That shit is hard as hell.
Shut the fuck
That
up.
shit hurts. That shit is not fake.
It's
Don't ever say the F word about wrestling, especially around me.
Oh, that's
So
so
there was
funny.
this guy, he wrestled in a promotion called XPW. And he went by Pogo the Clown.
No, I love that.
And yeah, he's a big guy. He'd come out with a shovel, hardcore, just, yeah, and just, he's kind of a no nonsense kind of guy. But, he had hit me up, and I wanted to talk to somebody tough. I wanted just, somebody to just, not to sugarcoat shit, I'm sorry for your loss kind of shit. I wanted somebody to fucking, just tell me how life is, an older guy, somebody who'd been through it all. I called up one of my other boys, he was a medic in the Army in the Iraq War. I talked to him, when I talked to this wrestler dude, Coach Nugs, my man Joe Applebaum, he was just like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you were gonna call me." And I was like,
right.
and I was like, "Well, you put it up there."
I
It's
wasn't
like,
ready. I know I said it, but I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
expecting
yeah,
it.
yeah. So he was just like, he was like, what kind of dude was your brother? Like, did he party? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, fucking go party, man. And that like hit me like a ton of bricks,
love that.
and it's just here I am now. So, my ex, actually my baby's mama, like she had lost her brother in an accident at work, and she just let her life go to shit. She got on drugs real bad, and just even to this day, like barely sees the kids, whatever. But I just think it's disrespectful to our loved ones to let our life go to shit. after they die, because they didn't want to die. You know what I'm saying? They died so young too. So I'm just that's how I see them. That's what I tell people who are grieving. Like, it's disrespectful to have unhealthy habits. Just let your life go to shit because somebody else died. Like, they want you to keep living. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want you to throw it all away.
No, of course not.
Tap out.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if it was me, like, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine if we had the ability, like, when we pass away, it'd be like, are you fucking kidding? Like, looking from the other side.
Yeah,
to watch
yeah. I
somebody.
feel like, I don't know too much. Obviously, I don't think any of us really do, but, our loved ones are still here, I was talking about my brother to one of my cousins, and it was at her house, and it was in front of their memorial, where they got all the loved ones, and they got all the candles and stuff. And we were talking about him, and we were talking about how one of our cousins we're really upset with, and but like we still love the guy even though he's did some asshole shit, and then and I guess him and my brother Alex weren't in like speaking terms at the time when my brother died. So we're talking about that, and I'm like, my brother Alex, just loved everybody, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, there's this candle that's, you flip a switch, it turns on, and it had my brother's picture on there. It turned on while we were talking. And my cousin is like, oh, it's probably like a timer. And I'm like, no, like, I looked at it, I was like, there's a little switch at the bottom. And that shit turned.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and this was like maybe like 3 years ago or something. So, and my brother died in 2016. So I just feel like he's, still around. And, I feel like some of our loved ones are still around, you know what I'm saying? And, when you have dreams like you had this morning, I think it's important to remember that, and maybe they're trying to tell you something. Maybe they're just saying hi.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
I love that like a few things that you had mentioned, like the Balu, and like how he was like this teacher that cussed, that was himself. That was
Yeah.
And you were a freshman.
I was I was a junior when I met him. Yeah.
Junior, like you were a kid.
Yeah,
essentially,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
as
yeah,
a
definitely.
comparison, and like, how nice was it for you to have experienced a gentleman like that, to see what it is like what you can be like as an adult. You don't have to fall in line with the suit and tie, the
definitely
quiet, the
yeah. So I'll go to work with my basketball shorts on. Yeah, I remember one time I was working at Spectrum, right? And then that's where I did my 16 years. I always talk about it like it's prison or something. I did 16
so you got
years
your stripes in that
at a behavioral school, and there was this kid who got kicked out from another school for having a gun and trying to rob his classmates of their pills, of their medication, right? So he's my student now, right?
currently.
No, this was
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember what year it was. Everything's mixing up now. So
It's all good.
So, and then when you do a good job at work, and now you get promoted to do some hard shit. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, oh, he did the easy shit. Like, I bet he could handle the hard shit too.
Yeah. Like,
as a reward.
Whoa, what are you doing? You're biting at me over here.
Easy, mama.
Yeah.
Go.
So what happened?
Go.
Yeah, so there was a classroom with like the probation kids, the emotionally disturbed guys, and if they were acting up in their class, they got sent to this other class. So now it's like a party for these guys. They're like, I'm not doing shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all of us, come on. Stronger in numbers.
Man, they would talk so much shit, but and so we started bribing them with food and stuff. So some of them would try to fall in line. But this one kid who was just trying to rob people with a gun, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, so now he's in our school, and now he's in the class that I'm running, and I'm not a teacher. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, somebody said we're all teachers, and we really are. We're teachers' aides, but I'm not like credentialed, and I shouldn't be like running a class. You know what I'm saying? So this kid comes in and he's talking shit, and I'm just like, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love it.
I just had enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why?
Like these guys, those guys would give me like anxiety.
Sure.
Like I would clock out, and then my anxiety began because I knew I had to come back in 18 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Ew, that's whack, bro. I feel
yeah,
you.
it was. Working with them was the toughest. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, he's talking shit, And I'm like, get out then, leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am not in front of the door.
Yeah.
And I was just like, go, your last school will restrain you, try to leave, And I'm like, I'm not going to touch you. I was like, you want to leave, then get out, right? And I was like, I'm not a tough guy. I'm a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and be tough. You know what I'm saying? Go, whatever. I was like, we call the police that you cut school after 10 minutes. So you got a 10-minute head start. And not that the police give a fuck anyways, right, about a kid cutting, right? And then so another one of the teacher aides was like, all right, let's get back, and you read this out loud, whatever, boom, boom, boom. And the kid's over here on his phone still. And I was like, I'm sorry. And I had to apologize to the kid who was trying to read. And I was like, I'm sorry. And I tell the kid, I was like, what are you still doing here? You say you're going to leave? Get the fuck out then. You know what I'm saying? And he's just like, oh, shit. And he's just like, fuck you. And he leaves then. And I was just, just shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't tell stories like that if I still worked there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely get in trouble. I got in like my first fight at work. And that
like
kid,
physical altercation?
Yeah, and that kid whooped my ass.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I was like 23 or something. It was.
And he was like what?
It was the one I was telling you about who scalped the woman, right?
Oh shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was he a big guy?
No. He was kind of tall, but he looked like Dennis the Menace too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude was just
lanky.
Yeah. But he had some. He had attitude, whatever, but yeah, I just like saved him from getting his ass beat or something. Yeah. And so like we go
to. So I remember you saying, "Oh, he wouldn't do it to me."
Yeah. So now we're.
Is this the story you're about to tell?
Yeah.
Okay,
so we're in the bathroom, right? And I'm just hot, like I'm hosing myself down in the sink, and he's behind me, and he's like, "Bert, let's fight." And I was like, just kind of ignored him, and he was like, "Come on." And I was like, man, you don't mean that. And I'm like washing my face. I get a napkin. I turn around. Boom! Right? Jab just right to my face. And
just randomly?
Well, he did say it.
I mean, he did. I know he did kind of
Yeah. So,
but it's a random, like you guys just came back from being outside. You're kind of freshening up.
Yeah. Well, he had just gotten like a altercation or something outside. And I think I had to break it up and all this, and just my adrenaline's
pumping. What do you think it was? Do you think like maybe you manhandled him off and he was just like
no, he had imminent explosive disorder. So if he thought about it, most of the time
he was gonna go for it.
It already happened.
No way.
Yeah. So boom, right? I get rocked, right? And then like I'm trying to process what just happened. Boom, I eat another one. and I'm like, what the fuck, right?
No way.
So I start blocking, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, he sends one right up the middle to my stomach, right?
Oh my God, this boy was kind of nice with it.
Yeah. I was like, wow, he's good. And then so right there, I was like, this motherfucker knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's not gonna get in another one.
Yeah.
And like he threw a right jab at me, and I was able to get out the way, and I got behind him, and then I got him in a chokehold. And then I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like I'm at work. I'm working with people with special needs, and like I'm about to
choke this fool out.
Yeah. And so like it's crazy that all this is happening so fast, and I'm really having this conversation with myself.
There's a glimpse of you catching yourself in the mirror doing what you're doing.
And all those words I just said just happened like in a moment. And then so I just shoved him into the stall as hard as I could, and I got out of there, and like he's running at me. You know what I'm saying? What's up, right? Yeah, like a zombie and stuff, And I'm just like, oh my God. I shut the door, and I put my foot against the wall, and I'm holding the door closed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we all have radios on us, like police and stuff.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the radio, and I'm just like,
Mayday.
And then people came running to the hall like, what's going on? And I'm just like,
because that boy was not gonna stop.
No, and like he scalped a woman, and he got in a couple good jabs and an uppercut to the breadbasket. You know what I'm saying? So
wow, this boy should have just been a fighter. What the fuck?
Yeah, but if anybody tried to fight him, oh boy, was he scared.
Oh really?
He was scared to death, man. Like he's like. People try to beat him up, and he's like running, trying to hide behind me, and I'm like, fuck you. And I'm fucking running away from him, and he's running away from someone else. Yeah, man.
You're going to learn today.
Yeah, but he would only learn against that person. So if like you whooped his ass, he wouldn't come at you crazy anymore. but he's gonna go after Mike now. Which would be dangerous.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's like,
So-
who's the next in the pecking order?
Yeah, and
right?
I'm like, I told him one time, does everybody have to whoop your ass here so you
Yeah,
can
right.
be
Just
good?
so you can be.
Yeah, but you know, he wasn't in control of what he could do. Like I said, like I've seen him slap like a young girl and an old ass lady. You know what I'm saying? So
Did he slap him?
everybody in between. Yeah, he once smacked a woman so hard. We're outside, right? He's freaking out. She's trying to calm him down, and he's just like, "Can I have a hug?" And she's like, "Sure." So they're coming up to each other. He's like this. Boom! Slapped her so hard, and we're outside. I heard the echo come from somewhere. Like it bounced off a wall from somewhere and came back, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Just cuz? Just that explosive?
He was just.
He asked for a hug.
He was angry. He wasn't angry with her, but then it was just he's pissed off still, and he just took it out on her face.
Dude, that is wild.
Yeah, man, I've almost been stabbed with pencils. I had a pencil like fly towards my eye. I had to tell on one kid who really loved me, and he was actually trying to stab people with a pencil. He used to keep sharpened pencils in his pocket, like he's he's at prison or something, right?
Yeah. Like he needs to defend himself.
Yeah, but one
Stop
time
it.
he was like,
Whoa.
like some of the other kids gassed him up to fight somebody, right? And he's chasing him around with a.
Give me a second.
With a sharp
oh my
pencil.
goodness,
Yeah.
honey. Come on. You're just being a problem. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
No,
Now.
somebody's grounded.
Enough. I see you. You're not sneaky. Dork. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good, all good.
So he just kept like a fucking a clip of sharpened pencil just to fucking throw him his stick.
So I was like, man, I gotta tell on you, dude. Like I cannot let this slide. Sometimes I would come into the classroom and I would tell everybody, I'm calling parents today.
Yeah.
It's up to you what I say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you better not tell me. And I was like, I'm gonna freaking tell. Right? And I called his dad, he gets in trouble. This kid loaded up his pockets full of rocks before he got on the bus, right? Because sometimes there's times where we had to search everybody, right, when they got off the bus, right?
Yeah.
And this dude, like I was talking to somebody, and then I just hear, and a rock just like flew right by my ear.
He was trying to get you.
Yeah, I almost got pegged in the dome with some rocks.
No.
Yeah, that would have messed me up.
That would have fucked you up.
Yeah,
that got you in the fucking eye.
Bro, yeah, dude. It was wild over there. And then he ended up leaving the school because he was good. And I took a college class, and he was sitting in the same classroom, and there was only one seat left, and he was behind me, and I was like, hey, bro. You ain't gonna stab me, right?
No, you ain't got no rocks in your pocket, do you?
Yeah, I wasn't worried about the rocks anymore.
No,
I was worried
too
about
close.
the pencils.
The proximity to him.
The pencils.
The pencils.
But nah, he's good. We're friends now. What's up, Giovanni?
Wow. Cool.
I ran into him at a gas station, and he was so juiced to see me. And
That's exciting.
he told me he was the manager at a grocery store within like 3 months.
Good for him.
And then he left there, and he's working for Google,
Let's go!
making way more money than me. And I was just like, yeah. So now when I get a new student, I want them to sign a contract. So when they get a good job, they got to give me a little bit of cut.
They got to toss you a little something.
Yeah.
Wow, from special ed to Google.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. So got to hold everybody accountable, man. Like, I know they got special needs and stuff, but what happens is like the parents will feel bad, maybe even blame themselves for some reason, and then just spoil them. And that is not good to do, man. Mm-hmm. So then they just grow up, just like any typical person. If they're spoiled, they're gonna grow up to be kind of an asshole. So,
just depends on how you feed the beast.
Yeah. And so, like, being there for so long, at first I was a pushover, and this is what I learned from them too. Is like I learned to be assertive. Cause that same dude who put his hands on me, who was rocking me. Yeah. There was a teacher there. He was like, man, when he was younger, I used to make him restrain himself, because we were allowed to restrain people. It was just up until maybe like 2018, 2019. I think there was a student in like the Sacramento area. He got restrained, and these people just like dogpiled him, and then he ended up dying from like asphyxiation or whatever. Like the George Floyd thing. They're like, oh, if you could talk, then you could breathe, but you're getting very little air to your brain, you know, and then so that happened. They didn't do it right. So and then 2020 came around and COVID, and it was just like hands off,
Yeah.
you know. But
No touchy.
yeah, but the place I worked for kept getting these students who were very
Just hard.
aggressive,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
it was just like now we're defenseless,
Yeah.
you know. It's just wild, man. I used to work with this guy who was like 6'3", and when he started to get happy and sing songs, you got to watch the fuck out.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting how like there's different signals to.
yeah. So you know that's why I liked working more with people with like, you know, autism or being intellectually disabled, which is the new way to say mentally retarded. You know
What
what I'm
is
saying?
it?
Mental retardation.
But
Yeah,
what's the new
you
way to
say
say it?
intellectually disabled.
Intellectually disabled.
Yeah, the acronym
Put that in my
is
back pocket.
ID. Yeah, so but I like working with them because then you know what triggers them. You know their little ticks, and this happens next. We call it ABC, antecedent behavior consequence. So we can see their antecedents. Like if like I said, the kid started getting happy, started singing songs. That means he's about to fuck some shit up. You know what I'm
Wow,
saying? Yeah,
yeah.
when he's quiet, he's good.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but with the probation kids,
Yeah.
they could be like, oh yeah, I'm good today, blah blah blah, and then
Wow, yeah.
yeah, it's just
So it keeps you on your toes.
definitely,
much.
definitely. So yeah, this kid, man, I keep calling him a kid just because I was older. He was like 18, 19, and he was huge. He was bigger than me.
Yeah.
And then like I told my boss, I was like, man, I feel like I'm coming to work and I'm going to a boxing match and my arms are tied behind my back. And she didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do nothing for me. So I just started calling out all the time.
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like right. Like,
And then so somebody else is watching them and they're not you know getting on them like I would. Like I'd be hella close to them all the time. Like what are you doing? Knock that off. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? This kid was like
Immediate.
the staff was just like whatever, right? And so the boss was having lunch one day with you know one of her coworkers, someone in the admin building. You know they're having a good time while the rest of us are out there sweating, getting our ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And there, boom, a giant rock flies through her window.
No.
And then she's like, oh, let's kick him out now.
Yeah.
But when he was pulling my hair out of my head, like
Yeah.
no one,
It was
yeah,
like,
she
"Nah,
didn't give a
maybe
shit.
give it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I really got dragged down like by my hair,
Yeah.
pulled down, and he wasn't letting go at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And man, like wrestling really saved my life like a bunch of times. Like I know how to, you know, creep out of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like I knew he was trying to slap me with this book one time. Like I knew he was like kind of creeping up to this book, like kind of like you know, kind of
Trying to
like
be sneaky about it.
yeah. And so he had the
I
book,
see,
and I knew it was
bitch.
coming, and he went like this, and I got around him,
Uh-huh.
and I was able to take him down. You
Yeah.
know, like I've had some crazy stories, man. I once had to restrain a guy inside Target.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was me, and the student was a big old white boy, right? Big giant.
What
head,
had you
like
guys
this-
all gone out on a Target field trip or some shit?
Yeah, we're going, and he really wanted to go, and what was scary about him, he didn't have any antecedents, so we didn't know
Oh, there was
what
no-
was gonna trigger him to be aggressive, and he would be very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like he was like about my size. I'm 6 feet, but he was just like thicker, just all around,
Yeah,
right? Just
yeah.
big boy.
Yeah.
And he just started getting angry, and he started attacking his staff, who's his one-on-one staff, and so we had to get him, and I really got him in this hole called the $1 Million Dream from the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
That's hella
But
funny.
I wasn't strangling him, but I just had to get him locked up, just I'm holding him, just for control, and my staff had his other arm, and I was like, bro, we got to drag him out of
Yeah.
Target, bro, because if we would have let him go, he would have just walked up to some random
Oh
person.
yeah, just
and,
get it all out.
yeah, and he was a biter, and he
Yeah.
had these big teeth. Like one time, he grabbed my beard like this, and he pulled me in, and his teeth are just like chomping away. And I'm not even sure how I got out of that one. I don't even
Oh my
know.
god, especially if he had you by the beard like that.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what I
Yeah.
did to get out of that. Maybe somebody saved me. Yeah.
So it's fair to say that like
Yeah.
you've learned a lot through the work that you've done, the wrestling. Let's
Yeah.
fast forward to
Yeah.
like how when we met. Was it at that vintage toy
Yeah, I think it was.
stand?
Yeah.
That vendor.
I think it was my son's friend's parents were selling some toys. I think I just bought some Cobra Kai toys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Love Cobra Kai. Yeah, so yeah, that's Pittsburgh.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I also wanted to touch back, like how much of like a yes man you are, like how much you want to experience life. You've had some moments where like you've lost your youngest brother, and so where are you at now? Like I know we came across, and the vibes was nice, and you're like, I'm in a fucking band, and I think that's when I was like, oh dude, we have to talk. Like I would love to pick your brain about it.
Yeah. Zombies on Crack. We call our music crack rock and roll. Yeah, and the old guitar player we had, he wanted to make music. He wanted, he loves metal and so do I, but we didn't want to like scare people away. Like he was like, he wants women at our shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because if you have women at your shows, then you have guys at your shows.
Yeah.
And then that means women are gonna come.
So was this the other gentleman that you're mentioning? Is this the person who kind of started it and said, "Hey, come join"?
Yeah, kind of. His name is John. I don't know where he is now.
Is he not part of the band anymore?
Nah, he got on heroin really bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I tried to help him over the quarantine. I would give him numbers and
drugs are crazy. Man,
yeah, it's like who's like 45 and it's like, hey, I think I want to do some heroin now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was, when he was sober, he was great.
That's honestly like mind blowing.
Yeah. So
you think you reach a point where it's like, all right, like I got shit that I gotta worry about.
Yeah. He didn't have any kids or anything, but yeah, he just.
I don't mean to trail off. So was he the one who started it?
Yeah, kind of. So I would go to their band practice. It was.
And what was their band called?
I think the Long Island Disasters or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you found out. So you met this guy, John?
No, I met the drummer, Phil. My man, Filthy Phil, aka Shakedown.
How'd you meet him?
He lives down the street from my homeboy, Squishy Brain Wayne.
You guys have the coolest fucking names. I'm gonna need you to toss me one of them bad boys, bro.
Yeah. It'll come one day.
I'm gonna just like be chilling one of these, and you gotta text me randomly and be like, "Hey, this is the new name for your podcast, season 2."
Yeah, it'll just come to me. Actually, Zombies on Crack came to me in my dream.
There we go.
You gotta listen.
Speaking
You
about,
gotta listen.
Like portals and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
You gotta listen to your dreams. It was weird. So Wayne has been a friend of mine for a long time, long time, and we want to start a band, but we sucked. Like we can't play instruments for shit.
This is Wayne. Who's Wayne? Wayne is not Phil nor John.
No, Wayne is the other singer. Like, the lead singer of the group. We always argue about it. It's hilarious because like people only remember him, and he's like Flava Flav to Chuck D. You know what I'm saying? No, people can't even say who Chuck D is. You know what I'm saying? But they remember Flava Flav. Yeah, like this guy.
I have no idea who the fuck Chuck D is.
He's light skinned dude. He's tall. He's got a mohawk. He looks like kind of looks like a goat.
Is this Wayne?
Yeah.
He's a black guy.
Yeah, he's black and white. Real handsome guy. So people always remember him, and all he did, like, and then like he screams in the band and I rap, but I'm like doing most of the vocals. And at the end of every song, he says "bitch."
Yeah.
And people just remember that.
They love that.
He's the lead singer. So okay, all right, whatever.
That's funny. So are you the singer?
Yeah, I'm the vocalist. I don't sing. I suck at singing. I rap.
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's a rock band with rap.
Yeah,
that's the vocals, is the rapping.
Yeah, and he does like high pitch and low kind of screams like that.
Sure.
That's
fun. How exciting.
Yeah. So we just like to mix it up.
Yeah.
So
I know you guys vibe off of each other for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And so.
So how did Wayne come into this?
So no, Wayne, just him and I, been friends for a long time. This is what we wanted to do, and he knew Phil because they lived in the same neighborhood.
Got it.
And Phil plays the drums, and Phil's like 60 years old right now, whether he admits it
or
not. And he is badass.
And he's a killer.
I tell people he's the cock and balls of the band.
I love that.
Like we would never even got off the ground. It wasn't for him. Like I'm just still after 20 years still such an amateur guitar player.
No pun intended, but why was he so instrumental?
Because he's great. Like he's like we all sucked at our instruments, and he's just.
Oh, he was just fucking nice with it.
Yeah, like he makes us sound like we're good. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why. And I remember playing with him, and I know like 3 chords, and I'm playing it, and then he's just like, and I just got stuck, and he's like, "Why'd you stop playing?" And I was just like, "Man, I just started watching you, bro." And I just get stuck, I gotta play faster.
I'm playing tennis, and I'm like playing doubles, and I see somebody hit some like dope ass shot, and I'm like, I'm like sit there. And then they get it back, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I was just admiring your shot, bro.
Yeah. No, it's just like that. So, yeah, we started teaming up. Yeah, so.
So Phil said you started going by to Phil's joint.
Yeah. And then, we were a bunch of kids,
How old were y'all?
playing with this guy. We were like 20.
Yeah.
I had some people in the band that were like 18. And Wayne's just like a year older than me. But, nothing really came out of that. And then but I kept going to Phil's house. I was over there smoking weed and listening to whoever showed up. People would just show up, and just pick up a guitar or
That
bass or
sounds so
something.
sick, bro.
Yeah, and he would just play drums for everybody.
I want friends like that.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. And then so the other guys in their band would never show up, and so I was like, hey, I wrote some shitty raps. I got on the mic and I started rapping.
Wait. So one of these days you were just like, hey, I wrote some shit down. Can I get on the mic? Or
Yeah, because there was.
But was it talked about?
No, their other band members didn't show up, so I'm there with my boy John and Filthy Phil.
Yeah.
And so I just got on the mic, and then they started making beats, and I remember it was crazy because it was like one of the first songs we wrote, and Phil just started kicking the drums, just like some hip hop stuff, just boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and then John was like, I could do this, dun, 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 or I could do it like this, bum, bum, bum,
Hey.
or he was like, or I could do this, and I'm just like, what?
I love it all.
I'm like, yeah, do that and that, and somehow, some way, I'm good at composing the music because I was, if it was up to them, it would just be a 10-minute loop of the same beats, so I just was able to just break up what they did, and I was like, hey, I want you to do this part,
this here.
Yeah. So that's what I really bring to the band because everybody knows my rap sucks. So you know what I'm saying? And
well, now I'm really excited to hear it, dude.
Yeah. Well, me too. We've been trying to record, and my bass player he's like, hey man, we got to record. We got to make the fans pay for it. And I'm like, I'm down, bro. I'm down. And then I was like, man, come over to my house and fix something for me real quick. And he's like, dude, I live in Oregon. And I was like, when the hell did you move to Oregon? And he was like a year ago.
What the fuck?
And I'm just like, oh, bro, whatever. But we send each other. He sends me beats. He makes rap beats too.
Who is this, Phil?
This is Crackhead Kevin.
Crackhead Kevin. Who's Crackhead Kevin?
He's the bass player.
Okay, the guy who was crazy, oh no,
no, he's another guy.
Yeah,
he's we also call him 211 Kevin.
Yeah.
Because he loves malt liquor. Yeah.
I can't wait till I get one of these nicknames.
Yeah, so he sends me rap beats and he plays the piano and stuff.
Has anybody ever told you that you look like Momoa?
Yes. Yeah, so it's funny because one time somebody texted me that and I didn't know who Jason Momoa was. Yeah. And so I asked my girlfriend who it was, and somebody told me that I look like him, and she said, who the fuck is telling you look like Jason Momoa? He's the hottest guy around.
Who's filling up your head with all this nonsense?
Yeah. So I was like, shit. And one time somebody asked me that. I was at the grocery store, and I was like, so you think I'm a handsome guy then, right? And they were kind of like, huh? And I was like, Jason Momoa's a handsome guy, right? Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, and I look like him. And they're like, well, yeah, I guess you are. And so, yeah. I'd like to think of myself as a skinnier Jason Momoa.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Where were we?
Yeah, I'm like sitting here talking to you, I'm looking at your profile. I'm like, this guy looks so familiar. Yeah. And I was like, I know him.
I know. So
it's a great look.
If he needs a stunt double, you call me. I did some pro wrestling. I can learn how to fall down again.
You can handle some of those hard hits.
Yeah, definitely. So where was I? Yeah, so.
So the band, homeboy decided to move to Oregon.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just tough to have a band, like all these different lives. Let's come together. Let's work on some ideas, and it's really hard to get everybody together. So. Yeah. So all these other bands that I see and they're rocking out all the time or whatever, I'm so jealous. I was like, man, you guys can all get together. I love that you can appreciate it though. Yeah, I do. And I love my guys, and so we did that.
So when was Zombies on Crack born? Like, when was that group?
Man, sometimes I don't even know. Yeah. I was like, I think this is our 20-year anniversary, but
bro, you guys
I think it might be
for 20 years.
Yeah, but on and off though. So we rocked out from we did shows from 2008 to 2010, and then we kind of just everybody just started moving around, just moving, and we lost contacts and stuff, and then.
So was it a different band before Zombies on Crack?
It's always been me, Wayne, and Phil.
Okay.
So me, the lead singer, and the drummer. It's always been us. And then so when Kevin, the bass player, got on board, he just stuck around.
Is Phil the 60-year-old dude?
Yeah, the cock and ball.
Oh, that dude, the cock and balls of the band is he's like retired, so he could always host the drumming.
Oh no, he probably works harder than all of us.
No way.
Yeah, he's like a mechanic.
Oh wow, yeah, that's nonstop work. I love it. That's probably his life though, mechanic and drumming, huh?
Yeah, but he's always down. He's like, whenever I see him, he's like, so when we gonna come show?
Yeah,
if I called him right now and I was like, Phil, we got a show Saturday. He's like, well, yeah, fuck, I gotta get my shit out of the storage. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. Everybody else, like, I'd be like, we got to practice.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we did a reunion show in 2013. And then everybody disappeared again. My guitar player got on drugs. Like I knew his transition. Like he always had money, and like I'd go to the house he was staying at. It was always clean, and then all of a sudden his house is fucked up, and he had no money. And it was just like, dude, you're back on drugs.
Just like the cleanliness of being there.
Yeah, just like
noticing like the habitual.
Yeah, just the decline of it. So yeah, and then so like 9 years went by. And now it's 2022, and there's this band I love so much. Their name is Arnold Core. Arno Core.
Like Arnold.
Like Arnold. Yeah, exactly like that. But these guys are no joke. They all take their craft seriously. Everybody in the band is jacked. Yeah, so you hear their songs, and they're called Predator and Commando and Turbo Man or something. but it's not. It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that they're singing about. It's ancient Austrian folklore that Arnold Schwarzenegger took and bastardized into film.
What?
Yeah, but you got lyrics like "Get to the chopper,"
no
and it's not a tumor.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So they're a fun band.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Come check them out in July. I think the 19th at the Gilman. Check out the Gilman, the famous Gilman out here in Berkeley. It's an all-ages show. I'll be there with my son.
You said July 12th?
I think the 19th. I think it's the week. Yeah,
I might be able to go.
It's a Saturday. Yeah, I'll remind you. They're a whole lot of fun, man. They got their lead singer, Josvoya. Him and my son have the same birthday.
Oh, cool.
So I went to his show in like July of 2022, and my son was in Idaho at the time. And my son called me on FaceTime, and I'm like, look who I'm with. I'm with Josvoya. And they see each other, and they're just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They're friends.
Yeah.
And then so my son's telling him, hey, have an all-ages show so I can go, And then
I love that.
my son really made it happen. And then like a few days later, Josvoya calls me, and he said, hey, man, I got this show at the bottom of the hill in San Francisco with the Memphis Murder Men, another band I look up to and respect. And he was like, I want Zombies on Crack to open up the show.
Dude.
Right? And, I had no guitar player, but there's this guy I always wanted to work with, my man Mike Lopez. And I'd seen him earlier that year in April. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hey, man, like, I want to work with you. Because I try to work with other people, and it's hard, like, our artistic ideas, you know what I'm saying? People are just like, yeah, no metal, chick. And I'm like, I can't do nothing with it, you know what I'm saying? So I need, like, a good balance of, like, hip-hop and punk rock and metal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so then, so I remember when we were talking about what kind of music we wanted to make.
So sorry, do you like also then hold like an opportunity for them to like showcase when you're looking for somebody? Like you say, hey, hey, I'm interested in being your guitarist.
No, because it's just when I tried that, it just didn't work. Like,
so
because I feel like I'm like not very confident in like I don't say, I can't scream for long. Some people don't like my rap, you know what I'm saying? I try to rap over like rock beats, metal beats, punk stuff, so it's just hard to mix with people, and then And so that's why I told this guy, Mike, I was like, I want to work with you. And he was just, and like we jammed before, and he got along good with Phil, the drummer. And then so when we were talking about what kind of music we wanted to make, I was like, dude, I'm getting goosebumps. And he looked down at his arm and he had goosebumps too.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was in April of 2022. And then in July of 2022, I get asked to do this show, and then I call Mike, and I'm like, bro, we have to make it happen, like, for reals now, because
I got a show.
yeah. And so he was just like, oh, shit, like, let's get on it. And so I told Postboy, I was like, just wait, just give me, like, a month, bro. If I don't do anything in a month, like, find somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so my guys started working together, and then one day I was thinking, I shouldn't even go to practice. Like, I should let the guys the real musicians of the band, do their thing. And my bass player Kevin told me he was
like, hey, we're gonna practice, but you can't come. And he told me he was just kidding. And I was like, no, I was already thinking about this. So no, you guys do it.
Yeah.
And then so when next time I went to go see them, they worked out like 3-4 of our songs. And I was like, bro, as long as we get like 7 songs, we're good. And then so Mike would come over to my house and like, I know the songs really well. And so I'd play them pretty shitty on bass, just the key notes and just so he gets the rhythm. And I would even play it on like a water jug. I'd do the drums on an empty water jug.
Yeah.
And that really helped.
Yeah.
And so I told Hostboy, I was like, we're in. And then so in October 2022, Zombies on Crack was back. And like I got to perform in front of my kids.
Oh, was that your first time? In front of your kids?
Pretty much, because my daughters were real young when they see me perform in like a house party or something. But my son had never seen me. Yeah.
How old is he again?
He's gonna be 14 this August, but at the time I can't do math right now. 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah. Got it. 11, got it.
Yeah, but he's like grown so much in height and weight.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's a whole other human being.
Yeah, definitely.
But him seeing you at 11 is great.
Yeah. And then he even told me, he was like, Dad, I thought you guys were gonna and I was like, say what you gotta say. He's like, I thought you guys were gonna suck.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so we knocked it out of the
didn't
park.
suck.
Yeah, and like I like to work the crowd, being a pro wrestling guy.
Ah, dude, you're a showman.
I am. And I even watched like my old videos and of me up there on stage, and I'm like, I'm terrible. Like I'm just cussing all the time and say the F word just like it's like I'm breathing. And I'm just like, nah, I sound stupid. And I was like, so I'm gonna change it up now. I'm older, I'm smarter, and so I went up there and I just I did my thing, and I like to talk shit to whatever city I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And the people.
Like what kind of shit?
Like, just like what wrestlers do, just like, oh, Sacramento, yeah, this town sucks, boo. You guys haven't won a championship.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that. Yeah. So we're Zombies on Crack, so for short, we're ZOC. And I'm like, let me hear everybody chant our name, ZOC. And then this is like my family's in the crowd, my friends are in the crowd, and they're all, sucks. You know what I'm saying? So ZOC sucks. And everybody just with it.
Loving it.
And I just start throwing a tantrum on stage, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I will leave. So we're in San Francisco, and I was like, I will leave here just like your 49ers did, and I'll go play in a better city like Santa Clara or something.
Shit.
And then they started talking all this shit back to me, and it's great.
But it's fun, right? Like that's like a part of it.
Yeah. We played in Berkeley in 2023, and everybody was chanting that we sucked, and the bartender was like, why did everybody come see these guys if they think they suck? And there's a guy in another band, he's like, you just don't get it. This is part of their shtick, you know what I'm saying? Like in wrestling,
I love it.
One of my personal favorites.
Have fun.
The Hot Rod Roddy Piper said, did people go to the first WrestleMania to see Hulk Hogan beat somebody up, or did they go to see me get beat up by somebody? You know what I'm saying? And
interesting.
Yeah, and I thought about that, and I was like, wow, I hated Shawn Michaels for like 12 years, and I hated him with a passion that I drove to Houston, I drove to Phoenix to see him get beat up by The Undertaker, and I saw Shawn Michaels' career-ending match, and you know what I'm saying? Then I kind of let go of some hate, and I realized, I was like, the hate for Shawn Michaels kept me watching this stuff for so long.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so it's like, we're Zombies on Crack. We're a show, and I think
part of the show.
I think what makes us great is that, we're not the best musicians by far. But we take people, away from their regular life, and now they're seeing the show, and we're talking shit to them, and like I'm jumping in the crowd and I'm moshing. Wayne likes to get like little pebbles like right outside, and he puts them in a little bag, so it's like a little crack rock. And he'll
funny.
autograph it.
That's
And he'll
funny.
toss it out into the crowd and stuff. And I told them before that show in 2022, I was like, you know what? We're lucky nobody's ever like thrown the rocks back at us. Because he's never
Out of
like,
the bag.
no, he's never like thrown them with like malicious intent.
Sure.
He'll just kind of like,
Underhand.
like, who wants a rock?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he'll just hand them out or just toss them, make sure you're looking.
Yeah.
But when we were up there on stage, I seen him just, and just the rock came flying.
It's
like,
coming back.
yeah, so I was like, you know what? No more rocks. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, good stuff. Like when I'm moshing, like I just act like a wrestler too. If somebody shoulder checks me, I'm flying.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
it was funny. One of my friends said the funniest shit they ever seen at any show. I had a bunch of like fake cockroaches and worms in my pocket. So I'll come out dressed up like a zombie, like I'm straight out of the coffin, right? At the funeral parlor, whatever. So I'm moshing around, and I got this big coat that I get from the Goodwill, and I fuck it all up. I'll cut it. I'll put dirt all over it. You know what I'm saying? And so somebody bumped me in the pit. I sell it. I go down. I'm on the ground, and then people help me up. And my friend said when they helped me up, there was a bunch of fake cockroaches on the ground where I was.
I love that.
And I was just like, yes, that's great.
That's so cool.
I got to get more cockroaches now. So
That's brilliant. I love that addition.
yeah. So we just try to have a show like that, just have fun. But it's tough getting everybody together.
Yeah.
I want to practice. I don't want to go up there and embarrass myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to embarrass my friends that I'm on stage with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to people pay to see us, so I want to give them.
Yeah.
I want to give them a good show.
So the show in 2022, and then after the show in 2022, when your son first got an opportunity to watch you, when was the most recent show?
It was like October of 2023, and so.
So you haven't performed in a couple of years?
No, I performed like myself as a solo artist, but not with the band though.
Oh.
It's just tough, man. Everybody's just.
I didn't know
doing their
like
own
that.
thing.
There was. I mean, that makes sense. And like being somebody on the outside of it, like an outsider, and hearing that, it's almost like. But at the same time, it's almost like encouraging to know that it's not like something that you have. Yes, of course, you have your people who have bands and are like killing it and doing it every single day and blah blah blah. But it's like you can still have a band and find it difficult to come together and practice and put a show on, but it's nice to hear that it can still be something that exists.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm not gonna let it go. And I went and saw the band Suicidal Tendencies last year, and I feel like the only person who was still there in the band originally was like the singer, and there was this kid playing bass, and it started clicking to me like my son's playing bass now. He has his friends are all making music together.
How cool! Coming around full circle like that.
Yeah, they call themselves the Crack Babies.
No.
I told him I was like, hey man, like everybody knows you're my son. Everybody knows me. Zombies on Crack.
Cool.
I was like, dude, just play off my stuff. And I was like, think about the merch, think about the shirts, the stickers, all the stupid art you can do.
On.
And he was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then he met up with his friends, and they're like,
they loved it.
They're like, Dad, we're going with Crack Babies. And I was like, ha, I knew it. But I was like, you know what? Like, because we get older and, we get tired. And we're just like, oh, I got to stay home. And everybody has different lives. My new guitar player, Mike, he's got a young daughter. And so, he's got, recital on Saturday or some shit, and, Phil's 60, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So we're all doing different stuff. So it's just hard to get everybody together. But I was like, man, maybe if I get these youngsters to learn my music,
imagine.
I could go play with them, and they're young and they're juiced. They want to play, and I want to play. So that's something I'm gonna get my hands in. But I started.
Good for you.
I started gassing everybody up because there's just a lot of talent just in my circle, and there's a lot of talent in Pittsburgh, and so I want to get. I'm getting everybody together. Like, hey, you're an audio engineer, you're an R&B singer. You play guitar, you play reggae music, you could rap like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So let's just all help each other out and, make some music together. Like if you need this guy to
I'm gonna
record
have
you.
to fuck
He got
with you.
you.
I'm gonna be like, yo, Bert, I want to fuck around with some music.
Yeah. Let me know. We're trying to start our own record label called Free Ballin' Records.
Come on, dude. This is the type of shit I like to
And
hear.
it was funny because when we came up with this name, it was me and my guitar player Mike. This was like last summer. We're in my friend's bedroom, right? And there's like 6 guys in there, and straight sausage fest, right, going on. And then we needed to use like another outlet, and we're like, man, we gotta just get rid of the light. Everything is being used for like an amp, the computer, the speakers.
Bruh.
I was like, we don't need this light in here. So it's 6 guys in a dark bedroom now, straight up having sausage party. And then it was crazy. I was like, man, all the talent just in this room. I was like, we got to have our own record label. I was like, what are we going to call it? And then me and my guitar player look at each other, and we both said free ballin'. And that was crazy that we both said these 2 words at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like, it has to be.
It's it. It's
yeah. And like, I'm trying to be like free of like, record labels. And, that's why our favorite artists start to suck, because the record label's like, you got to come out with another song, another album. Like, you got your YouTube thing going on. What if somebody was just like, you need another episode now, you need a whole nother season, I need you to crank it out by the next month. And what I'm saying? It's just, it's tough. So you're just like, hey, you want to get interviewed? All right. It's, you know what I'm saying? The quality isn't going to be good. So, I know people who, crank out a bunch of songs and stuff. And, people get on me like, hey, how come you haven't put this song out yet? You made it like 3 years ago. And I was like, because I hear it again, and then all of a sudden I hear something else.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to add something else. So I'm just
the curse of an artist, dude, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I never heard that before. I like that, because it's just, I keep hearing other things, and I'm like, I don't want to put anything out and then be like, oh, when I hear it, oh, I should have did this or did that. You know what I'm saying? So I will get there, and I'm gonna get there before this year's over.
Hell yeah.
And I've made a couple verses with my friends' songs, and they're gonna put it out. They just got registered as musicians on a platform called BMI. I need to do that myself too, because I was like, we all did it when we were in our 20s, and now, like, me and my crew, we're in our early 40s, and I'm like, dude, we got to do it smart this time. Last time we were just playing shows, partying, all the time. And there's no money in playing shows, and it's exhausting. You have to promote. The promoters want you to bring in, I'm in a band, 5 people, 6 people. They want 10 people for every person in the band. And it was like, this guy doesn't have social media. This guy's friends are like 50-something years old.
So much work.
Yeah, and
administrative shit that you wouldn't. That's
yeah,
outside
dude,
of playing
and then that's what I did a lot, and it becomes exhausting, because now I'm working for like all these people. Like I'm not gonna force anybody in my band to get social media, but if you have it, share the fucking flyer. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. There's so many bands out there, and they will not share their flyer. It's like, dude, just tell people, like, don't think you're gonna show up to a venue and there's gonna be all these people here to see you. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to make money, you're gonna make more money if there people come in. So tell somebody that you're playing a show. Don't leave it up to one person in the band, 2 people in the band. Like, if everybody promoted, there will be a lot of people showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, your friends meet my friends, and now they're friends.
Right.
And they meet this other random dude at the bar, and he loves us. Just things like that. Share somebody else's flyer. Go to somebody else's show. It's crazy. People, if they're not booked, they won't go. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how it is in the rap world, in the rock and roll world, in the wrestling world. If they're not booked, they're not going. Right. They're not gonna promote your shit. You know what I'm saying? It's, how simple is it to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shared, you have a new episode, a little clip. I see it online. I press share, I put it in my stories.
Yeah.
Boom, somebody new sees it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll follow you, maybe they won't, but at least I shared, and it costs nothing, and it's, we're trying to help each other out. There's enough money out there for everybody. It's not competition.
For all of us to eat.
If you're in a band and I'm in a band, it's not competition. Let's work together. People spend money on entertainment, so let them spend money on us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So.
I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the things that I really want to start doing, and I know that I want to do this, like, maybe like on episode 4.
Yeah.
I want to start getting on other people's podcasts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, pick my brain about why I started mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And I think it'd be, yeah, because to your point, it's like, one person hears of it, the next person's friend hears of it, and I've been grateful enough to meet some pretty cool people.
Yeah.
By being that yes man, by like going out, like I was invited to that Pittsburgh thing from a coworker.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's crazy how like our paths cross and
Yeah, and
we end
now,
up being-
now we're here. Yeah.
we end up being
Yeah,
friends on
yeah.
Instagram, and to hear your story has been amazing, dude. What's next for Zombies on Crack?
Man, I'm just gonna try to record. Gonna make the fans pay for it.
Yes,
I'm
even at least $1. Well,
yeah,
I
it's great.
pay,
Like
bro.
I made shirts and just haven't even made my own money back yet. And I'm like, I don't care about making my money back anymore. Just
Yeah.
anytime somebody buys a shirt, I'm just gonna put it in the band account and just try to stack up like that. Try to record. I tell the guys in the band, I was like, if we record and have something clean, people hear us, and then we're gonna get bigger shows. You know what I'm saying? Like I just went to the Ice-T show the other day. It would have been great.
The Ice-T show?
Yeah, it would have been great if I got to meet him because I was this close to meeting him. If I could have just been like, hey, like here's my sticker with my little scan code on it, and he could go on there, and then boom, here's my music. You know what I'm saying?
I did not know that Ice-T had his own rock band.
Yeah, Body Count. They are amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said he
and you-
rap.
Yeah, and you know what? I think he was already rapping, but he has close friends who play guitar, and so he wanted to put them on so they could rock out for a living. And that's what he did. He did it for his friends.
That's exactly what we
and
were
now
just talking
yeah,
about.
now they performed all over the world and stuff, you know, and he didn't even have to do that. You know, he
You
could
never know what these like sorts of networks and connections can do to your life.
Yeah, exactly. So, I love meeting people, and it's let's help each other out. Like, I got this my man Killator in a group called Corp Circus. When I met him on MySpace, he had this page that just looked professional and all this stuff. He has all this merchandise for sale. He's got a website, but he never did any shows. And I did a bunch of shows, and I was like, hey man, like I'll put you on one of my shows, and just teach me how to do
some
something.
shit.
Do something. And so he started performing, and and now he hasn't performed in like a decade or even more, but he has on Facebook, he has over 300,000 followers on Facebook. It's amazing. He just had a Kickstarter. Look, I'm getting goosebumps again.
You love it. Come on, it's real shit.
He had a Kickstarter, and he was trying to raise $4,000, right? He got $12,000 from the fans.
Come on.
Yeah, because he puts out this merch, and he's like, and his merch is fresh as hell, and he's making music, and he's just putting it online. He doesn't go outside or anything, and he's killing it. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine if he went outside.
yeah, but he doesn't need to. And I'm
Right.
like, dude, the game has changed. Like, we don't need to go,
game
bust
has
our
changed.
ass doing these shows, spending gas money, doing this. Everybody in the band makes $40. You know what I'm saying? I spend more than that on my bar tab at the end of the night. So we could just record, put it out there, and let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. So that's the next plan.
I can't wait, dude.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited for the future.
If you could give, and there's so much shit that I feel like you've shared that I feel like I needed to hear, like one of them being like, there's that concept of like you needing to leave the place that you were born in. You got to get out and flap your wings, right? Although it's nice, like it's okay to come back and like flourish here.
Yeah,
is one of the pieces that you share with me. The fact that Baloo taught you at a young age, like the possibilities of what life can be like and how you can be an influence to others.
Yeah.
Is there something that you like have recently learned or felt like you've gone through that you can share with the people that might?
I'd say just go for it, man. Just come up with a plan, like what's obtainable in the next 30 days, and write it down. Another teacher told me writing is just thinking on paper. So put your ideas on paper and then make goals for yourself. What could you do in the next 30 days? What could you do in 60 days, 90 days? You know what I'm saying? But just make it obtainable. Like I was bringing up wrestling as an analogy. I told somebody this the other night. I was like, it's like a ladder match. You know what I'm saying? Nobody just jumps straight up to the top and grabs the championship or the briefcase. You got to take little steps to get there. So it's like climbing a ladder. You know what I'm saying? You want to get to the top, you got to take this first step. You know, and your first step is to step up. You know, so just go for it. Yeah.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Dude, you gave me so much inspiration. I'm glad that, you know, you came back.
Yeah.
Love
Thanks
you,
for
dude.
having me.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much,
having me.
dude. Zombies on crack, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Wow.